The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
and so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow, they pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Yes, indeed. Good morning to you, one and all of you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites all across the globe. It is I, your lovable host, Rod. Yes, indeed, coming to you live from the Bunkerized studio here on this Tuesday morning, Tuesday, October number 3 in the year of our Lord 2017. It is a little bit difficult this morning. You can give it a shot. Call-in number, the Hot Rod line, is still as far as I know, it's 603. 835-3226. Still having some technical... I called it this morning from my cell phone, got through once. Testing it. Tried about a half hour later. Didn't get through at all. It said, not in service. Like, not in service. So if you are on Skype, if you have a Skype account, you can Skype call, because that is a Skype number. 603-835-3226. It is a Skype number. So you can Skype call at Reccles44, Reccles, the number 44. Use the digits. But in any case, we're definitely looking at, last night and this morning was doing some research on changing the way the show... Not the format of the show, but just how the show is broadcast to make it easier for people, and investigating having my own app. I asked a few questions about it. There is a way to do it that isn't going to cost me like $10,000. Yeah, apps are ridiculous. If you don't know how to do your own app, it's ridiculous to get somebody to do it for you. It's crazy. I should learn how to make my own. They have all kinds of programs and stuff you can, add, but then you got to get it onto, Apple and Google and Microsoft and, well, Rush is on Apple. Rush has got his own app in the Apple Store, so maybe there's hope. Yeah, but then Rush has also got like an audience of 30 million people, so that may help him, but. We'll see. I don't know how else do you get Apple. You got to go through one of the stores, right? As far as I don't know. I'm not a tech guru. Don't know a lot about this stuff. In any case, we are going to talk a little. Well, everybody's still talking about the Las Vegas thing, the Las Vegas shooting. I get it. It was a tragedy. But folks, I'm telling you, we're being set up. Now, you know me. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I only like the truth. I only like facts. I only like historical documentation. But I'm telling you, we're being set up. And we're being set up because I've noticed yesterday, no matter where you went, when people were, when the news media, the lamestream media was talking about it, they would say it not once or twice, but multiple times. And we get it. We get it. But there is a reason they keep using the phrase, worst mass shooting in American history. Well, yeah, it is the worst mass shooting in American history. We get that. But when you say it before, as you lead into every single story, and I'm not exaggerating. Now, on the news, I actually caught some of the newscasts last night on my local newscast, and this is local. I mean, hell, national. I went to watch a particular program that I usually watch at about 7 p.m., and you got, ABC News is on instead. All over, for a half hour talking nothing about the shooting. And David Muir, I don't know how many times David Muir said it was the worst mass shooting in American history. Yeah, we got it. All they got to do is say it once. Now, my local station here, they had the top of the hour, at least 3 different stories were about the Vegas shooting. Before each shooting, or before each story, they said that they had to remind us this is the worst mass shooting in American history. Folks, we're being set up. This is a tragedy, yes. But they're setting up the living right now. The left is trying to set up the This is a warning. I'm telling you right now. Now we've already had them out there. I mean, let's face it. I'm going to be a bit vulgar here. The bodies were not even cold before the Democrats were out there touting and shouting and demanding gun control. The win at Las Vegas already, there's a story here that says that they were already scanning and metal detecting guests. What, are they going to detect everybody as they come through the door every single time? You can't check somebody only at check-in. What if they go out and bring in more bags? I mean, this guy evidently had 10 bags he brought in. I don't know how you hide 10 bags, but also, I don't know how there was no warning. He was such a quiet, then we find out he's a millionaire. He's a millionaire banker, or millionaire investor. Then he's a millionaire accountant. What? We don't know anything about this guy, do we? Except for the fact that he is the perpetrator of the worst mass shooting in American history. I want you to count when somebody says that today. How many times they say it? Because they're going to continue to say it. Now, this is not just, my local news. This is not just ABC. This is every news outlet that I have come across that talks about the shooting, talks about this tragedy. It is somewhere in the story, usually at the beginning or even at the end. I mean, there was one story where they said it 3 times within the story. They said it in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. Isn't that the way what you're supposed to do? When you give a speech, you tell them what you're going to tell them, then you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. Isn't that how that works? It comes in 3s. I don't particularly follow that tried. I wouldn't call it a tried and true, but that stale formula. Because people tune out. They do. Which is why they keep saying it, because they know we're going to tune out on it. But the reason why we tune out is because we keep hearing the same thing. Here, let me help you out. Let me help you to tune this out a little bit more. I don't know if you should tune it out or not. You should pay attention to it because they keep saying worst mass shooting in American history. Oh, yeah, now that 59 people have died because of the shooting. Last count that I know of. I don't know if there are any others that were out of the 527 that were injured that may still be on life support. But in any case, I know it. The Pulse nightclub in Orlando was 49. And how long did we hear that? Worst mass shooting in American history. How often did we had special news story? Who was this guy? Who was the shooter? Could we have prevented it? And the Democrats were all out there marching and protesting and demanding arm in arm and giving, standing at the podium, grandstanding. We need gun control. There isn't a single proposal on anybody's lips right now that would have prevented Orlando or would have prevented this past weekend. Oh, this guy I've heard so many stories. He legally converted. I thought automatic weapons for most people were illegal. So how did he legally convert a legal weapon into an illegal one? I know there's all sorts of stupid questions out there. I know, I get it. You're not supposed to ask that kind of question, Rod. You're not supposed to want to get to the truth. You're not supposed to want to know the absolute factual truth. You're just supposed to listen to what the lamestream media tells you and go along with it and be touchy-feely and all emotional when they tell you you're supposed to tear up and cry every time they say worst mass shooting in American history. You're supposed to just be incensed with guns, Rod. It's the gun's fault. It's not the person pulling the trigger. Oh, no. It's the gun's fault. Just like, in this country, whenever somebody gets killed in an automobile accident and an SUV is involved, it's the SUV's fault. Not the driver's, it's the SUV. And we get a bunch of terrorists in Paris and London that run people down, or in Barcelona, or in other places in Europe. It's not the terrorist's fault. It's not they come in as refugees. It's not the refugees' fault. They took a truck. It's the truck driver's fault, and it's the truck's fault for running down all those people. How many people have died by automobile over the past year in terrorist acts? I'm serious. Seriously. I don't know the number. It's a lot, is it not? I'm not even talking about the injured. How many people have died? Now, granted, some of those 527 people in Vegas that were injured because they were trampled, not because they were shot. I mean, obviously, people trying to get to cover, trying to get away, get out of the venue, get out of line of sight. It happens. People panic. Not blaming people who are panicking, trying to get out of danger's way. Not blaming it, but it happens. The problem is they're not telling you that. They make you assume that all 527 people have been shot. Now, when you're using a high capacity rounds like this guy is, or like this guy used, I'm actually surprised. He's a terrible shot. I'm surprised there aren't more dead. Because a crowd that size, the type of gun that he was using, with the kinds of bullets he was using, frankly, folks, we are lucky that there's only 59 people that are deceased right now. But with their failing to 527 injured taken to the hospital, well, all those 527 people were not shot. But you're not getting that kind of accurate information, are you? No, they want you to believe that all 527 people that they've counted to be injured at the event were they want you to believe that they were shot. They're not telling you that they were shot. Notice that. They didn't tell you. They never say 527 gunshot victims wounded. No, they never say wounded. They say injured. Just pick apart what they're telling you. Pick apart where the truth is. You'll find it. They're trying to make it sound worse than it actually is. They don't need to make it sound any worse. It's bad. It's horrific enough. But the truth is, We're actually kind of lucky. And how do you assume we're lucky, Rod? Because he converted a semi-automatic into an automatic. He converted it into a machine gun. He had 23 weapons with thousands of rounds of ammunition. And he was only able to take out 59 people in an area where there are some 20,000 plus. We are extremely lucky. I don't know. I don't know what kind of grace that we should go by, or think that our, God Almighty above it wasn't worse. Now, folks, I'm being serious here. We're being set up on this. Now, I'm not saying this guy really wasn't a nut job, and I'm not saying that this guy possibly wasn't wasn't converted to Islam and ISIS at some point in his later life. I'm not saying any of that at all. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy theory that was launched by the left, somebody in the left. What I am saying is, one, we are extremely lucky, but by the grace of God, that this was not a worse tragedy than it was. Honestly. Considering his location, his vantage point, and the types of weapons and how many he had, we are lucky that there are not more dead. Two, they're setting us up on the left for a bunch of things, including more gun control, because they keep telling us over and over again before every single story that they talk about in this tragedy that it is the worst mass shooting in American history. They're making sure you understand it was a mass shooting. It wasn't somebody stealing a truck and mowing down 60 people or 100 people or 200 people before he stopped by a gun. No. That's not it. They want to make sure that you know it was a gun that the perpetrator used to commit this act of horror and evil. I didn't hear them say, before every when they were talking about, anytime they were talking about anybody who got in a car or a truck and mowed people down, I didn't hear them say it was the most running over or drive-by that we've ever seen in France's history or Europe's history or England's. They didn't mention the truck every single time or the vehicle every single time before every single story. No. Only in America do they mention the gun every single time. Even during the Paris shooting, remember that? They didn't mention guns every single time. Only here. It's the worst shooting in American history. Pulse nightclub. We heard that for a year. Then all of a sudden now we're going to hear this for it. And until, you're probably going to have some nut job who's probably going to try to outdo these people. Manchurian candidates. They're setting us up for something using this tragedy. That's shameful. Using a tragedy like this in order to advance your agenda, which people normally wouldn't want. But you're using the tragedy to play on their emotions to get more people to your side. That is shameful. That's disgusting. It's also un-American. You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, one of the other sick things out there is that you have all these people on social media that just the social media trolls. And I've seen the tweets and the Facebook postings, and I know some of them have deleted them, but it's once that's just, I don't know why people even try doing that. Once you post something, as soon as somebody else sees it, it's too damn late. You can't delete it. It's out there forever. Most likely, unless you can get everywhere and everywhere that it appears, because stuff spreads like wildfire. Unless you don't have any followers on any social media outlet, then yeah, you can post something and nobody will see it and nobody will share it or screenshot it, so you can delete it. But I've seen all of these, a bunch of different. Now, I don't go looking for these things. I really don't. I mean, I know they exist. But most of the time, I don't really take these people seriously. But I got to tell you, what I have seen so far in these tweets is, some people actually sounding like, in their tweets and Facebook posts, that they're happy about the shooting. Because somehow they're equating country music and country music fans to being Trump supporters. And if you're a Trump supporter, then you deserve to die, according to these people. And that's what they're tweeting. I don't know, how can you be that disgusting? How can you be that heartless, cruel, and evil? I'm serious. Well, the reality is it's quite easy, because we've seen evil before, the evil that men do. And it's not just men, it's women too throughout history. And we've seen that there are people that are evil, that they're become their underlings that help them do evil. Do you think Hitler was able to get to do what Hitler did all by himself? No, he had to have people who thought similar to him, who liked his evil and wanted to spread his evil. And we have these same people today, but today they're using Twitter. And they're not ISIS members. They're not Al-Qaeda members. They're regular. Believe it or not, a lot of these Twitter posters who hate Donald Trump, who are posting that those people at the concert over the weekend probably deserve to die because they were most likely Trump supporters, and anybody who's a Trump supporter deserves to die. They were most likely young, white, hipster types. The ones that supposedly you're supposed to have peace, love, and harmony with everybody. I can't tell you how disgusting it is to see a tweet like that. That's beyond heartless. That's beyond cold and calculated. And people wonder, Rod, how can you be so cynical when this stuff happens and you report on the media? Because this is how they react every single time. I'm not pulling this out of a hat. This is historical, documented, factual history here that I'm basing this on. This is not the first time they've done this, any of them.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Hilary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
You're
listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
Now, before I get into this next part, I don't want people thinking that I am second guessing first responders like the police, because I'm not. Let me just put that out there. It has nothing to do with the cops, but it has everything to do with the reporting. Now, I keep hearing them say that the shooter, this Paddock guy, he busted out a window in the hotel. Now, whenever they show a scene of the hotel on the 32nd floor, it looks like two windows are popped out. It looks like he busted out two windows. So, I mean, evidently it's a fairly large hotel room, I guess. I don't know. Is that where suites are, 32nd floor? It could be. I don't know what kind of hotel room it was, but evidently, it seems pretty large because it looks like there are two windows. Now, I could be wrong. Because they keep saying a window. He popped out a window. But every time they show a picture of the hotel and they put the camera on the 32nd floor, it looks like two different windows have been popped out. Which begs the question, how did he get them out? I mean, first of all, that glass is pretty damn hard to break up there. For a reason, it has to withstand all kinds of stresses and stuff. So how did he get it out? Did he use a glass cutter? What? Nobody heard him banging on the glass? Okay, if he used a glass cutter, it's one thing, but it looks like the whole window, the whole panel was popped out. How did he do that? Nobody heard him doing it? Nobody saw or heard glass crashing to the ground from the 32nd floor? I don't care where. Somebody's going to see and hear something. Nobody reported the glass coming down. I mean, even if there was a roof below, I mean, it's still going from the 32nd floor. Glass is going to make a horrific noise when it hits a hard surface. I've heard glass breaking, and I've heard glass raining down. Not from 32 floors up, but I've heard glass raining down into hard surfaces. It's not quiet. So what I'm asking is how is this guy able to do this for so long and be this prepared? He knew exactly what he was doing. This was not a last-minute thing. They want to try to make you think, well, he had gambling problems. Oh, BS, he had gambling problems. In one breath you say he had gambling problems, and the next breath you say, well, he was a multi-million-dollar or multi-millionaire from real estate and accounting and all kinds of stuff. But it's not easy to break out, that kind of glass. I mean, that stuff is, it's what do they call it? Steel glass, and they give it all kinds of names. It's steel glass, tempered glass. That kind of glass has got to withstand a lot because they're building exteriors. And in some cases, the glass is actually part of the structure. In other words, it makes the structure stronger. Now, I don't know if that's the case in this case with the hotel, but I've seen enough programs to know that sometimes glass is used to actually be a part of the structure. It makes the whole tower stronger. So the glass is not just your regular, ordinary window glass that you put in your house. It's tough stuff. I mean, I'm not suggesting that you try this, but I'm just saying if you try to bust out a glass in a tower, a window, and especially if it's a glass facade, and you're going to be pounding on that glass for a little while because that stuff is tough. It can withstand a lot. But I'm just curious as to why they keep saying it's only one window that he popped out when apparently whenever they show the floor from the outside, there's two windows missing. I don't know. And maybe it's a visual trick. Maybe there's a reflection or something in all the cameras, I guess, that take pictures of it. I'm just asking the question. Why do they keep saying a single window when it appears to be two? Why do they keep making this sound like this was a last-minute thing that this guy just popped off and broke down and then flipped out, when everything that they're reporting points to a well-organized, well-planned, well-thought-out process that had to happen, that had to take place over probably multiple weeks or even months. I mean, Frank, let's look at this, folks. This guy had 23, according to reports, he had 23 firearms with him in the hotel room. When they got to his house, he had another 18 there. He had thousands and thousands of rounds of ammunition, meaning that he had to gather the ammunition, and he had to gather it over time. Because if you buy that much ammunition up front, it's going to send off red flags to somebody. And he had to buy the ammunition that would fit all the different guns that he had. Now, sure, some gun, ammunition is interchangeable with many guns. I get it. But still, I mean, if you got to make sure you have the ammo to fit the gun. He had from a report that I saw this morning that some of the guns were on types of tripods and loaded. This is why I say we were lucky, folks. This guy came prepared. Well, in order to get that hotel room, in order to get a hotel room that was high enough overlooking the venue, first he had to scout it. Do you realize he had to scout the venue? This just wasn't an overnight thing. Nobody's even reporting that. That is just logic. I mean, let's look at this step by step, shall we? This guy, first of all, he had to get this thought in his head. Now, I don't know if he was arguing or fighting with himself over this, but he had to get the thought in his head. He had to know that there was going to be a concert. So and we know months, sometimes it's a full year ahead of time when there's going to be a concert. Oh yeah, so-and-so is coming to town for this concert. You can get your tickets now. So he had to know when the concert was coming to town, when the concert was going to be, and then he had to go and he actually had to stand on that ground to scout it out. Folks, he did not just drive by, see a concert with more than 20,000 people happening in an open air, look across the street and see the hotel, run into the hotel and get a room on the 32nd floor that just happened to overlook the venue, and then run home and gather 23 guns and tripods with thousands of rounds of ammunition and sneak them into the hotel room with nobody seeing him, up the elevators, into the room, and then start firing. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, he had to noisily pop out 2 windows in order to do it. Yeah, that was just, we're just supposed to think that, this guy he flipped out. This is why we need gun control. This is why we need to have laws in place where people who might be, mentally ill can't get a gun. As if this guy would not have been able to get a gun. He was not mentally ill. He was cold, he was heartless, he was calculated, and he planned this for months. That's why I'm telling you, we're being set up here. I mean, and then you have guns, I even saw a report. Where did I see? I had it in the paper pile. There's a report that erroneously said that only one report. I don't know how you do this. He legally converted some of his guns to fully automatic. Now, I thought fully automatic guns in this country, in civilian hands without a special license, was illegal. Does he have a special license? I thought it was illegal. So how do you legally convert something to an illegal item? How do you legally convert a legal gun? How do you legally convert it into an illegal gun? I know I'm not supposed to ask these questions. I'm not supposed to think about these kinds of things because the lamestream media isn't bringing up those questions. So, Rod, you're not supposed to know this. You're not supposed to think this way. You know, we told you, Rod, that this was he was probably a nut job, that he just freaked out one day because of gambling debt. This is a story that they're trying to force upon us right now. That he was distraught about his gambling. No, he wasn't a broke multimillionaire. Every story that I've seen so far, evidently he still has millions of dollars. I don't know how many millions, but he's a millionaire. So evidently his gambling problem wasn't that bad. So he couldn't have been that distraught over gambling. And it wasn't just a 1 or 2 day all of a sudden flip out type of thought. This was a well-planned event. Now, I am willing to bet, because of how well this was planned out, I am willing to bet that this guy, months ago, probably rented rooms in that hotel to look out and see if those rooms that he was going to get were going to fit his needs. I'm sure if we look at the history of that, I would be surprised looking at the history of that hotel if people that either he or people that were close to him had not previously rented rooms on various floors facing that venue. Prior to this, I'd be surprised if they didn't find that out. If they go and look for that, I'd be surprised that they wouldn't find it. Because the man scoped it out. He just like a bank, with some of these big bank robbers, they go and they case the bank. They thoroughly case it. They know what they're getting into before they try to rob the bank. This guy knew what he was getting into before he brought those guns to that room. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew exactly how he was going to be able to inflict maximum casualties. Only problem is that evidently he was a terrible shot from there. Well, how can you say that, Rod? That's no, I'm being factual. Here's a guy with a fully automatic rifle with thousands of rounds, and you could hear it on these videos that they're showing that there was very little break time. It was just constantly bullet pop, 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 just constant. And only 59 people have been killed. That's a miracle. Of course, nobody wants to talk about the reality of this stuff. They only want to put forth this notion, this mantra. It's the worst mass shooting in American history. And every single time we have this mass shooting stuff, the Democrats, within 24 hours, I don't even think they waited 6 hours this time. But within 24 hours, they march out there in front of the cameras and microphones saying, this is why we need to have a conversation about real gun control. We've been having this conversation for decades, and we keep telling you, one, it's unconstitutional, and it's not the government's right to take away our weapons. Period. What was it, Virginia Virginia Tech? This is when they really started counting. You had 32 students, 32 people at Virginia killed, mass shooter. You had the Orlando nightclub with 49 people. And the press was mad about that one. Why? Because it didn't hit 50. They thought they had 50. Some even reported 50, but they had to correct themselves. It was only 49. I guarantee you if a 60th person does not pass away from his gunshot injuries, the media is going to be mad. They're going to be ticked. 59. Damn it, wasn't 60. That's a milestone. Only 59 so far. If we get to 60, oh boy, they are going to have a party. Don't believe me? It's even gone so far. CNBC's reporting CBS fires a lawyer for social media comment on Las Vegas. These people are flipping out over this stuff. These leftists are wigging out. They're having a grand old time over it. This is why I keep telling you over and over again, we're being set up for this crap. CBS has fired a corporate lawyer who said on social media about the Las Vegas mass shooting that she wasn't sympathetic because country music fans are often Republican gun toters. Her words. And I quote, country music fans often are Republican gun toters, unquote. The network said yesterday that Haley Geftman Gold, yes, a hyphenated name, Geftman Gold, Geftman Gold, had violated the company's standards by expressing deeply unacceptable views. By the way, you spell Haley, Hayley. Geftman Gold was a vice president and senior legal counsel at CBS in New York City and had worked there for a little over a year. Geftman Gold made the comments on Facebook in connection with a discussion on gun control. She said she had no hope that Republicans would take action if they didn't do anything when children were murdered, referring to another setup, the Sandy Hook massacre. Oh yeah, we Republicans, constitutional conservatives, if we don't give up our guns, it's because we don't care about children. Folks, I'm telling you, don't buy into any. If you are a liberal listening to the show, I don't know how you can remain a liberal after listening to the facts that I have been giving you. I'm not making any of this stuff up, although those people on the left are making up an awful lot, aren't they?
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came, defeat the would-be dictators, and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Folks, again, I don't want people to think that I'm bashing the cops, because I'm not. That I'm bashing first responders at all, because I'm not. But I just have questions. Now, I saw a report where this whole incident from beginning to end lasted some 72 minutes. Now, I don't know how accurate that is, or how they're measuring it. Is it from first shot to when the guy was dead? When the SWAT team stormed into the room, or I don't know how they're measuring it. And that's the only, I've only seen it in one place, so I'm questioning the length. But we had one report that gave the time frame of like 72 minutes total for this terror. I again don't know how accurate that is, but my question is, if we have police departments that are militarizing and arming up with surplus military equipment, why are they not better prepared for stuff like this? You know, we have Democrats running around talking about, well, hey, yeah, we need to have better gun control. And yet, when something like this, we often see how slow or inadequate our police departments are. I mean, are these people, I don't know if they're picking out, if they know about policing procedures. Somebody obviously does, because they seem to go to places like this where it takes longer for a response to come about. I mean, well, let me give you. I didn't hear about any armored vehicles in the Las Vegas Police Department. Well, at Keene, New Hampshire, they have an old Bearcat. They have an armored vehicle. I don't think it would take them very long before they pull that thing out. I didn't hear anything about Las Vegas pulling out an armored vehicle or any type of military style equipment other than the SWAT team. So there are other questions there. Are these people targeting police departments that are less likely to be able to quickly to respond to such an event? I'm being serious. And again, I'm not blaming the police. They are armed and equipped and trained the way they are armed, trained, and equipped. That's it. But are they picking areas and venues where the police might not be as well trained or as well prepared as some other places? Now, I haven't looked into that aspect, but I'm just thinking about this. You could say I'm thinking out loud. Think about it, folks. How many times has this happened in places where it doesn't seem that the cops are as well trained as some other cops are, or have the equipment that some other police departments have? Are they scoping our police departments too?
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
and I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small. You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound.
It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. Here it is, Tuesday, October number 3 in the year of our Lord 2017, hour number 2 of the program. I am, of course, yours truly. Welcome to all you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites all across the globe, as well as you sometime listeners and liberal listeners as well. The call-in hotline, or hot rod line number this morning is still 603-835-3226. If you cannot get through on that line, then Skype it. Skype it, and the Skype code is Reccles44, R-E-C-C-L-E-S, the number 44. And we are working furiously on making sure that this phone line issue, technical issue, gets fixed post-haste. But most of it is out of my hands until I decided to switch how things actually work as far as the calling system works. It's a pain in the ass, to tell you the truth. It really is, having to figure all this stuff. See, I need to have like 30 million listeners so I can have $200 million just to figure out, just to pay people to figure this out. That's the see. Well, either that or have a Kickstarter campaign. By the way, I have no idea how to do a Kickstarter campaign. Don't tell me, well, you go to Kickstarter and you sign. There are ways of doing it, like anything. I don't know how you properly do a Kickstarter or any of those types of venue. I don't even know if Kickstarter is a proper venue. Who knows? Well, you go to Kickstarter and you say you want to do something to start or expand a conservative talk show. They'd probably boot me off. Just saying. I don't. What are the others? I'm GoFundMe. That's the other one, right? GoFundMe, Kickstarter. Do they take a percentage? I don't even know how they work. I know people donate, but do I know that a lot of times when it's like GoFundMe, it's usually from companies that are, startup companies, and these people, when they get the product or service ready to go to market, that these people who actually, spend a certain amount funding them or contributing, get the product at either for free or at a deep discount when it finally comes out. What the hell would you do for a radio show? What am I going to give you guys? T-shirts? I suppose I could do that. Give you free or would you rather have coffee mugs? Just wondering if I need to raise $100,000 for a whole new studio.
when I give my biggest contributors or hats. Donald Trump seemed to do very well with hats. Maybe I'll give out hats. I don't. In any case, welcome back, folks. We're still on this gunman thing in Las Vegas. And, of course, Democrats immediately call for gun control after the Las Vegas shooting. Congressional Democrats chose not to wait. Do they ever choose not to wait? No, of course they never choose. They never choose to wait. They always choose not to wait. Congressional Democrats chose not to wait for all the facts to come in before immediately pushing for increased gun control measures following the Las Vegas shooting Sunday night. That left more than 50 people dead and more than 500 injured. It's not yet clear how the shooter, 64-year-old Stephen Paddock, acquired his guns or if gun control measures could have prevented him from obtaining them. But leading Democrats are already demanding stricter gun control legislation because it's not about keeping you safe. It's all about taking your guns away. It's all about gun control. That's the whole point. Gun control. It isn't about guns. Notice that they never say gun safety. It's always about gun control. Now, folks, there are a lot of countries on this planet today that have gun control. Meaning the government controls the guns and you're not allowed to have one. I mean, think about that why would a government want to have their citizens not be able to carry, to own a firearm? Well, this is not the first time, and is not a modern history type of thing. You know, there were times in most kingdoms across the planet during various times where unless you were an actual bona fide soldier or king's guard or nobleman, whatever the noblemen were of the day, different types of nobles from different countries, but if you were just a regular pauper or basically an average everyday citizen, in a lot of places you weren't even allowed to have a sword. That's a form of gun or weapons control. Because for centuries, the sword was the gun of the day. You weren't allowed to you weren't allowed to practice. If they caught you practice, hell, there were times if they caught you practicing how to be a swordsman and you weren't authorized to do so, you could be put to death. We know that this is true. This is historical fact. So gun control this is not anything new. There are some people that would like to tell you that the gun control issue is something that's fairly new. It's not new. This has gone on for centuries. Why? Because if you have an unarmed populace, it's easier to control them, and it is less likely that they will rise up against you because you will be the only one with the weapons. Plain and simple. And if you think that the Democrats aren't worried about an uprising in the United States, well, look what they do. Occupy Wall Street. Black Lives Matter. The whole Antifa thing. Now imagine if these idiots actually had weapons, guns. I mean, the whole point of taking your gun away is not so that you can't defend yourself from your neighbor, but it's so you cannot defend yourself against the government. It doesn't matter what level of government it is.
And no, again, I know some people are going to say, look, Rod's bashing. Look, see, there he is again. Rod's bashing the cop. No, I'm not. I'm just telling you that when you are not able to defend yourself from any level of government, you are no longer a citizen. You are a subject. What did the kings and queens and emperors and potentates of the day call the people that they ruled over? Their subjects. Did they not? Again, this is historical fact, folks. I'm not making any of this up. So without any further ado, the Democrats, upon learning about this shooting in Las Vegas, didn't even bother to wait, and they hardly ever wait anyway, but they definitely didn't bother to wait for the facts to come in before they started running to the podiums and giving little speeches and getting before the cameras and demanding some form of gun control, knowing all too well that most likely this guy obtained all these weapons legally, not converting them legally, but he obtained most of these weapons probably legally, and that there isn't a proposal on the table other than just stripping and confiscating guns, like some countries have done. They've actually made guns and confiscated them all. It comes to mind that I think France did that, England did that, Australia did that. And in all those countries, now the citizens, generally speaking, are unprotected. They can't protect themselves. And the criminals have the guns. And violent crime and terrorism is shooting through the roof. Now, one of the reasons why, and it's becoming less and less so, but one of the reasons why certain things can't happen in this country is because you don't know who has a gun. Your neighbor, every other person seems to have a gun. But the more and more these stupid little millennials that are infiltrating our society because, they're just becoming of age, they're becoming adults, they're thinking that they don't want to have that kind of stuff. And simply because they don't want to have that kind of stuff, they're demanding and expecting that their friends, neighbors, professors, and everybody else doesn't have that kind of stuff either that they don't like. And if you have the stuff that they don't like, well, they're going to browbeat you, yell at you, shout you down, threaten to destroy your property until you capitulate. So here, so we have a bunch of Democrats running around before the bodies have even had a chance to cool off, before we even had a chance to really put the pieces together to try to figure out what the hell just happened and how it happened. They're running to the podium and demanding gun control, which none of the proposals that any of them have, other than just complete and total and utter confiscation, would have stopped this. And frankly, even total confiscation wouldn't necessarily have stopped this tragedy. Why? Because we look at places where they have gun confiscation, and they still have had massive tragedies using guns. Paris, anybody a couple of years ago? Criminals are always going to be able to get something that they want. It's just those of us who follow the law, who obey the law or try to, we're the ones that'll be the sitting ducks. So any form of gun control, including, you got to go through some sort of mental process or mental evaluation before you get a gun, evidently they wouldn't have stopped this guy either. He wasn't a nut job. He was a well-heeled, well-oiled, wealthy, intelligent, normal, upstanding citizen for 64 years of his life. Granted, there's a story out there that his father, I guess, was evidently a psychopath, and he was on the FBI's 10 most wanted list for about 8 years. He was a serial bank robber and stuff, and of course the brothers out there saying, "I don't get it, I don't understand, I don't know." Folks, I got to be really careful. I'm going to say something about the brother that I've seen, and I've seen him do at least 3 different man on the street interviews, if you will, outside. I guess it's outside of his house. And how do I know the 3 different ones? Because
he's wearing different clothing in each interview. So it has to be, unless he says, hold on, let me go change my shirt. There are 3 different interviews, at least. All of them are the same. They're exactly the same. And I'm telling you, he's hiding something. I think he is. Because there does not seem to be very much shock in his voice or on his face. And, the little micro, the micro emotions and the micro facial and body language there. Remember a program called Lie to Me? I learned a lot about body language and what people do naturally, and I'm telling you, there are these micro expressions there. That now I'm not an expert on it, but I'm telling you, he's hiding something. As a matter of fact, this is not a shock to him. He doesn't understand why. Why? Yeah, he does. There's something there that is telling me that he knows more than he's telling. I'm not accusing him of being a part of it. And I'm not accusing the brother of having knowledge that his brother was going to do this beforehand. That's not what I'm saying. He knows a reason why. He knows that there's more behind this. His whole act, I don't understand, I don't know, he wasn't religious and blah, blah, blah. That's a lie. That's an act. There's something else there. Maybe it is connected with their father. I don't know. But there's something else there. And all the media is doing is taking what he's saying at face value and running it, because they're running away with it, because they're trying to say that the guy was a total nut job that just lost it all of a sudden, and this was a last minute thing. It took him only a day or two to put all this together, and then that's when he did it. That's not what happened. This is not what happened at all. Did the brother know that he was going to go on a mass shooting spree like this? Probably not. Was there something else there, though? Did the brother know that the guy was... Did Paddock's brother know that Paddock had become possibly radicalized? Influenced? This was more than just gambling issues here, folks. Don't buy it. There's something there that the brother knows that he's hiding and not telling us. Now, whether or not we'll actually figure it out and find out, I don't know. But I'm telling you that there's something there. And frankly, I don't think I'm wrong on this one at all. So don't doubt me.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, "I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar." Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, "I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar." And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
This guy, this Paddock brother, again, there's more to it than meets the eye. When it comes to his, I can't accuse him of anything. I don't know. I don't know either one of them. I'm just only going by what I've seen on TV, in the reports, the news reports, and to seeing this guy's reaction, the brother's reaction. I'm guessing younger brother. I'm not buying it. I'm not. There's something that he's not telling us. And as long as it's not, he's not keeping information that would be criminal. But he's fine. He doesn't have to tell us. We'd like to know in order to help us understand, of course, but he doesn't have to tell us. Now this suite, evidently that Paddock had at the Mandalay Hotel. You have, this is from the Daily Mail. He took 23 guns in 10 bags into Mandalay Bay, into the hotel room. Now, I want you to think about this because people think, well, bags. They don't know a picture. They don't have a picture in their head of what the size of a gun duffel or a gun bag is like. A bag big enough to carry guns, and guns can be heavy. If you're trying to carry multiples of them. That's why you had 10 bags, along with the ammo. But remember the scene in, just to give you an example, Keanu Reeves and he goes to save Morpheus. Remember that scene in the first movie? It was the first one, right? They don't. It wasn't in the second two. In the Matrix, the first Matrix movie, it was that was it, right? First one, not the second one. But they go to save Morpheus in the Matrix. And they walk into that supposed courthouse, I guess, office building, government office building. They're carrying 2 duffel bags full of what? Guns. Well, they weren't the lightest of things, were they? No, one of the bags I think was a bomb, but you get the whole point. So this guy had to bring in 10 of those bags. And I'm not saying that people should be. You're walking in a hotel that large with that many people milling about, with a casino as well. Nobody's going to notice somebody like that.
if he's keeping a low profile, not going to notice him. So I'm not blaming people for not noticing. But understand, it means that it took him some time. That he didn't have these 10 bags loaded onto one of those hotel baggage carts and had them all carted up to his suite. That's not what happened. I'm just telling you. Again, it goes to motivation and premeditated. This was highly premeditated. So wasn't it? So you're going to hear the left, try to pawn this off as some sort of, the despondent figure, and over a couple of days he grew more and more despondent and decided to do this. That's not the case. This was a highly sophisticated, highly planned event. Do not doubt me.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye. I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? What's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents, which leads to millions killed in shelters each year. Turns out, those little cuties can get pregnant sooner than you think. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. When you bring home a pet, get them fixed at 4 months old. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event.
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late, we stay informed, we invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Call Rod now, 666-603-835-3226. Welcome back. You know, the Daily Mail has something that's very interesting about this guy. Now, it's funny how we have to go offshore again in order to get all this information in one shot. But DailyMail.com has something here. And talks about this guy was a multimillionaire, the gunman. He's a multimillionaire, and what they have found out about him so far is that the cops, yes, they recovered 23 guns, some of them with scopes and military-grade ammo. 2 of them had tripods, and at least one was fully automatic. There were other semi-automatic weapons in the room that had been modified with bump stocks that simulate fully automatic fire. Of course, we know that he smashed 2 windows in his corner suite. That overlooked the fairgrounds, the event. He also had 19 other guns at his home, as well as explosives and as yet undetermined electronic devices at his home. Now, he made his fortune in real estate, but he also was known to have gambled heavily on poker and slot machines. He lived in a $400,000 retirement home with his girlfriend, Mary Lou Danley, who's 62 years of age, who was in Tokyo at the time of the shooting. Plausible denial type of thing. Did she know what was going on? It's hard. This type of planning, it's hard to say that she didn't. I don't know if she did or didn't. It's just hard to believe that you would not. It's possible to do stuff around people that close to you without them knowing what you're really doing, obviously, because it has been done in the past. But is she in Tokyo for plausible deniability? I don't know. Well, I'm sure we'll soon find out. Now, Paddock initially had no criminal record. Evidently, he had no Army training or any other military-style training. He had no apparent religious or political affiliations. This is according to his brother. Now, he's a multimillionaire. He made his money in real estate, mostly. And you're telling me that he has no religious or political affiliations? And he's that wealthy? That's highly unlikely. I'm being honest. I mean, he may not be all that religious, but it is highly unlikely for him not to have some sort of political affiliations, especially in the real estate game, if that's where you're making your money. Now, according to police so far, other than his gambling, his Paddock's life was largely unremarkable. In other words, he's like most Americans. He just lived a quiet life. Made a lot of money. Probably spent a lot of money in gambling. That was his hobby. But other than that, he's unremarkable. Didn't stand out at all. But he was a multimillionaire. He's 64 years old. He made millions from real estate deals, according to his brother. He also owned 2 planes and several properties across the USA, but seemed normal apart from his passion for gambling. But he also amassed an arsenal of at least 42 firearms. At least one of those was automatic. 2 others had been modified, basically turning semi-automatic guns into fully auto fire up to 800 rounds a minute. He had several scopes on these things. He took 23 of those guns to the Mandalay Bay suite over several days and set up 2 rifles on tripods at windows overlooking the Route 91 Harvest Country Music Festival. He also had thousands of rounds of ammo were found in the suite, enabling him to fire repeatedly over the course of 72 minutes. 72 minutes. I don't know how they're measuring the 72 minutes, but that's where I get the number 72. His car had several pounds of fertilizer used in bomb making. So was this guy thinking about making a bomb? He also set up a camera in his room, apparently to film the mass murder, and other cameras in the hallway to capture police arriving. Did you hear about this in any of the lamestream media reporting? So in other words, this guy had to, according to Daily Mail, he had to bring in these 23 guns and these 10 bags over several days. Now, the guy's a millionaire, so he can afford to tie up this suite for days, even weeks, if he wanted to. He evidently had electronic devices, again, not cheap stuff, but put out in the hallway. He had a system that showed him when the police were arriving. When they were coming to his suite, down the hall to his suite. He had pictures of it. That's how he knew that they were there. He set up a room in his camera and in the hallway. And they believe they use a hammer-like tool to smash out 2 windows in the room that he used to fire out. Now, they have these tools. Anybody can get these things. They're touted. They're small devices, and they're touted. Some of them are powered. They're spring-loaded, and some of them are just weighted properly. But they're used for breaking out car windows, especially especially if a car gets submerged. You go underwater. It's hard to break a car, even your side windows, your front and back windows. They're nearly impossible to break by hand. But the side windows are a lot easier. But even they're still hard to break, especially if you're underwater and because the water takes up a lot of the vibration that would cause a window to shatter. But these things are there. And they usually come in a combo tool. I have one. And actually, I didn't even buy it. It was given to me. It's a seatbelt cutter. It easily slices, because people sometimes they get trapped in their seat. The seatbelts get jammed if they've been in a major car accident, and people can't get out of their seatbelt. It keeps them safe, but then they die because they can't get out of the damn car. Well, this is a device that slices the seatbelt rather easily, as well as on one end it has a spring-loaded thing that I just press kind of pull down a button type of thing, and you put it up against the window and you pull on the button and it shatters the window, so you can climb out. So these things are readily available. I mean, they some devices like this even come in automotive emergency kits. So it's not a special tool that only specialized people can get. These things are readily available. You'd probably find a half dozen different kinds on Amazon right now. So this wasn't anything strange. I mean, a lot of people have these. I have one of those tools. So a lot of people have them. Some people leave them in their car. Some people actually carry them on their person. I just leave mine in the car. I mean, it's probably actually pretty stupid. I keep it in my glove box. You know, I probably shouldn't keep it there. How am I going to reach it in my glove box? Honestly. If I'm in an accident and I'm stuck in the seatbelt and the seatbelt won't allow me to move, how am I going to reach over to my glove box and get it? But that's where it is. So we have those things. But I guess you could. It's probably having the glove box is not for me being in an accident, but for helping somebody else out, I guess. But any case, so this guy had all this equipment, some of it highly sophisticated electronic equipment. None of it's cheap, but he's a multimillionaire, so he can afford to do this. So it leaves the question as, really, was it just gambling that sent him over the edge? I'm not buying it, folks. Just not. I'm not buying it. And the thing about this, I mean, I know he was 64 years old, 64, 65. They might be trying to portray him as some crazy old millionaire, recluse, but he really wasn't a recluse. He lived. Evidently, he has owned 27 different residences that he's lived in over the years. That's a lot, but when you're a real estate mogul, especially I don't know if he did any flipping. If you're a real estate mogul that likes to flip houses and you often live in the houses that you flip, then that's not unusual. It's really not, because you take a year, 6 months, whatever, you live in it, you flip it, make some money, you move out, you buy another one, you live in it, you flip it. There are people that do that, especially if they're single or they have no children. Couples with no children, people do this. So that's not highly unusual. They're also trying to make him look a little bit because I've seen the pictures, but the problem with the pictures is I haven't seen any pictures really of late, except for one picture with his eyes closed. All the other pictures seem to be when he was much younger, and he had bozo hair. Bozo the Clown type of hair. I mean, look, what's the boxing mogul? Now I can't even think of his name. He had crazy hair. Maybe it was just part of his thing. It was just part of his shtick to have the crazy hair thing. I don't know if it was normal, if he always had crazy hair, if he still had crazy hair when he was older. But, look, often, people who are wealthy or what have you, especially in the real estate business or entertainment business, they're a little quirky. But they don't run around shooting people. Although I do have something here about, speaking of quirky, unusual people, to shift the conversation away from Paddock. Because I think I've talked enough about this guy for today. Honestly, just don't buy what the media is telling you. Understand that they're setting you up with this whole notion of trying to make him look like that he was crazy and that it was a last-minute thought. It wasn't. This was well thought out, well planned, obviously. And he had the money to do it. Plain and simple. This had been planned and scoped out for at least months in advance. Because you just don't get the suite that you want, overnight. Not in Vegas. Not like that. I mean, it wasn't a highly expensive suite. But so you gotta know which one you want, when it's going to be. It's got to be available when you want it to be available. So this was well planned out in advance. The only thing, evidently, he had a lot more planned that he just didn't go through. And I don't know why these people always stop short of trying to pull off their full. Because if you're going to make a bomb, or if you have bombs and electronic devices and you don't use them, what kept you from using them? So other questions, were there supposed to be other people involved and people chickened out or weren't there, or what have you? I don't know. But just don't buy this whole notion that the younger brother doesn't have any idea or clue as to why this guy would do that, because I think he does. Just don't buy the notion that this was done as a whim because of gambling debt, and he was despondent over his gambling, because it wasn't. This was well planned out, well thought out, well in advance.
and understand that they're coming after your guns in multiple forms with this whole notion, as the media keeps saying, it's the worst mass shooting in American history. Every single time they're setting you up for stuff, folks. I'm telling you right now, don't doubt me on this. But there's another man whose last name begins with P, like Paddock, but it goes by Polanski. Roman Polanski finally admits to child rape. Yeah, can you believe this? But he says it's over. What's over? It's not over. People, we're in the 21st century now, right? And you know, we talk about our relationships with countries that are supposed to be our allies. But yet we have a noted pedophile and convicted child rapist, Roman Polanski, is giving interviews from the Zurich Film Festival rather than the bottom level of some dark dungeon or jail cell. So, when the uncomfortable subject of his monstrous crimes against children are brought up, the director waives questions off and doesn't comment. However, in this last occasion, his attorneys press his case to be allowed to return to the USA without having to go to jail, he actually responded to a reporter. His answer once again demonstrates his lack of remorse and shows his sense of entitlement, basically. He says, as a person of his stature in the entertainment industry, should not be held accountable under the law, basically, because he said, "Oh yeah, sure, I did it. That was in '77, and it's over." She says, as you know, Samantha Gamer, G-E-I-M-E-R, is that how you pronounce her name? Has been asking for over 30 years for this to end. But I'm sorry the judges who dealt with it the last 40 years were corrupted, one covering for the other. And maybe one of them will eventually stop doing it, said Polanski. He said, as far as what I did, it's over. I pleaded guilty. I went to jail. I came back to the United States to do it. People forgot about that and don't even know that I then was locked up here in Zurich after this festival. So in the sum of things, I did about 4 or 5 times than what was promised to me. So this guy believes that being free in Switzerland, but not being able to return to the United States, was the equivalent of being in jail. This is the person that Whoopi Goldberg defends, by the way.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people, you suck.
Yes, I am sure that I am saying lots of stuff that the left doesn't like or want me to say. And with that, there is a poll that was done. Hot Air has this poll that a low number. I guess that I don't know if we should be surprised and amazed at how low the number is, or that many people would actually think of this. But I think that this is okay. But remember that about 5 to 10% on either side are extremists. I mean, of the political aisle, you got 5 to 10% of the population on the left are extreme leftists. And no matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter what kind of evidence you put before them, the 5 to 10% of them are just going to be leftist, crazed leftist idiots and dolts. The same thing on the opposite side. 5 to 10% on the right, no matter what you show them, no matter what you tell them, say, prove to them, what have you, they are always going to be on the right side. They're going to always think extreme right wing. That's just it. So let's just say it's 5% either way. 5% on one side and 5% on the other. Well, so this is not out of the norm then, this poll. It's within crazy norms. 8% of Americans think that it's okay to shut down a speaker with violence. Yes. So if that headline sounds familiar, there's a reason a survey of college students conducted by John Villasenor for the Brookings Institute made waves online 2 weeks ago when Villasenor claimed to have found that no fewer than 19% of the leaders of tomorrow supported the idea of a group using violence to silence a speaker whom it opposes. That was intolerably, even implausibly high. The stories emerged afterwards attacking Villasenor's methodology and calling the poll junk science because it used an opt-in online panel. So YouGov decided to test the results by asking similar questions, albeit this time of the entire U.S. adult population, not just students. They conducted an opt-in online panels for its polls, but it uses simple sample matching and weights and came up with 8%. So amongst the entire population of the United States, 8% think that it's okay to use violence in order to shut somebody up that they don't agree with. That's within the 5 to 10% crazy realm, extreme realm. So it's not out of the norm.
It was just another quiet Saturday at the Johnson home.
Honey, have you seen the hammer?
It's in the garage.
Oh, no, not the garage.
Later that same day...
Dad, I can't find the bicycle pump.
Son, I'm afraid it's in the garage.
The garage?
Then the following Tuesday...
Howard, where's the car?
It's in the garage.
Does your garage look like a giant yard sale without the yard? Do you cringe at the thought of entering your garage? Then you need Crest Garage Cabinets. With one phone call, those wonderful folks at Crest will come out to your home, design the best combination of cabinets for you, and install them quickly and professionally before your very eyes.
It's a miracle.
And unlike other companies who ask for a down payment or money up front, you won't pay a penny until your Crest cabinets are installed to your satisfaction. So call Crest today, toll-free at 1-800-548-2848. That's 1-800-548-2848. And you'll never fear going into your garage again.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare.
I was terrified. It was like your head's going to explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small. You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound.
It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
and so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Welcome back. Hour number 3, the fastest 3 hours on Internet Talk Radio is right here on the Rod Eccles Show. That means, yes, that the time goes by pretty darn fast when you're having fun or when you're getting angry or just when something's good. Good, it just goes by fast. Here it is, hour number 3 on this Tuesday, October 3. October number 3 in the year of our Lord 2017. Later this half hour, we have today's holidays for you, so stay tuned for that. October 3rd already. It is Tuesday, right? It's Tuesday. Tuesday? Okay. Just making sure, because sometimes, I'm just going at, 5,000 miles an hour, and sometimes I just miss days. You ever do that? You're going and you're running so fast, or you're having, you're enjoying life so much, or not even, well, you don't slow down, but I mean, you're just moving so fast that you turn around one day and you wait, what day is this again? Because the days just sort of meld together because you're constantly moving so fast, you don't slow. Well, this happens, and you better start taking the time to smell the roses, so to speak, because days fly by. They do fly by. I mean, for crying out, we're in the last quarter of the year 2017 for crying. It just really, honestly, it seems like yesterday it was 1999 and we were talking, this was October 1999 and we were talking about, in 3 months, the entire world is going to fall apart because computers are going to crash everywhere because of the embedded chip problem. That was 17 years ago, 18 years ago. Already, almost 2 decades ago. We're 17 years into this new millennium and new century, folks. Already. Think about that. Time flies by. And yesterday, evidently, I don't know. I don't know if it's been confirmed because it was confirmed yesterday, but then it was unconfirmed. We lost Tom Petty. Now, I was never a huge Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers fan. But there were a couple of his big hits that I did like, and he was a big part of the '80s lexicon. He's a part of a lot of people's history, music history, and he is. And he always seemed like a nice guy. I mean, I've seen him in a few interviews. He seemed like he was a genuinely nice guy. He wasn't an a-hole. And he could do some weird things with his guitar, if I remember correctly. So it's not that he was untalented. I didn't think his singing voice was all that great, but he wasn't like he was untalented. He had a very unique voice. But evidently we've lost him as we continue this bleeding of our talent pool. People both young and old. For the past year and a half or so, it just seems like they've been dropping like flies, as if the world is preparing. Certain parts of the world, of the human population, is preparing the rest of us for something very terrible or evil to come. It just seems like something bad is about to happen because these people are getting out early. They don't want to experience what's about to come. Now, I'm not being a doomsdayer or what do you call them? I'm not being a revolutionary. For those people who believe literally in the book of Revelations in the Bible. I'm not going that direction. I'm just, kind of half-heartedly, half-facetiously saying that it just seems funny that we've been losing so many, once famous and currently famous people. Many of them who thoroughly entertained us, at least at one point. And they're all ages. It's not just old ones. And it's not just ones that have abused themselves with drugs and alcohol over the years. But it's all ages of all lifestyles. It seem to be, over the past year and a half or so, seem to be dying off. Honestly. I don't know why that is. I'm not going to speculate. I don't know. But evidently you can. Now, again, I can't confirm this because they won't confirm or deny it, because they confirmed it yesterday but then unconfirmed it that he had died yesterday after a massive coronary heart attack, but evidently he didn't die. So I'm waiting for corroboration, for more corroboration. And I'm not trying to be funny or facetious, but seriously, that's just the way it happened yesterday. I heard Tom Petty died. I'm like, really? So I went to read the story, saw the story, Tom Petty died. And then right after that, I saw another story that said, no, Tom Petty's demise. And I thought, it was one of those joke things. But it wasn't a joke thing. He had a massive coronary, but he wasn't dead. He was in the hospital. And then I saw a story that it said he was close to death and that there was a do not resuscitate order. So I saw a story this morning that says that he's gone. I don't know if it's true. I mean, this is pretty bad. We can't even get the death of a celebrity, the supposed death of a celebrity accurate. Do you realize that? How difficult is it to get the story? Either he's alive or he's not. How difficult is it to get the story? But this is what's happening today in our media. They can't even get a simple story like that correct. But we're supposed to believe him with everything else. I'm just saying. The thoughts and prayers go out to Tom Petty's family. He was only 66. If this is the end for him, he was only 66. He's not old. Which is why I say time is fleeting and it just passes by before you know it. You're not here anymore. And for whatever, young or old, doesn't matter. I mean, I'm sure, what is it, Betty White's 91? I'm sure she's thinking, yeah, geez, 91 years have gone by already? Pretty much. For her. So take the time to smell